In today's work environment, the demands to perform at a continuously high level of excellence amid the pressures of increased complexity, ambiguity, and rate of speed can be overwhelming and taxing on even the most focused and positive person. The circumstances of today's work environment, whether you acknowledge it or not, are the ideal scenario for stress. And unless you are monitoring and managing your emotions, there is a high potential for the negative effects of stress to overtake you. Stress is a normal physical response to events that make you feel threatened or that upset your balance in some way. In fact, for many people, any amount of change at all can trigger stress, especially if it's perceived to be unwanted change. When you sense danger, whether it's real or imagined, your body's defenses kick into high gear in a rapid, automatic process known as the fight or flight or freeze reaction or the stress response. The good news is, when you know your primary behavior style scale number, research provides you with an abundance of valuable information and insights. And in Corporate Harmony's Positive Presence Behavior Competencies, you and your work colleagues are walked through the research and deeply investigate its dynamics as it presents in your work environment. Understanding and being aware of your behavior style will help you identify when you might unknowingly be under stress. Understanding others' behavior style will also help you identify when they might be under stress, whether they know it or not. Note that each style begins with an initial stress response that is an amplification of their natural behavior. If stress continues and gets more intense, each style has a tendency to respond with the behaviors of the opposite scale in the four-quadrant model. So, Scale 1, under intense stress, will exhibit a pattern typical of Scale 3, and vice versa. And Scale 4, under intense stress, will exhibit a pattern typical of Scale 2, and vice versa. Research has identified that each behavior style will find specific behaviors to be stressful, and when under stress, they will also display typical behavior patterns. When you are equipped with this information, you can consciously be even more diligent in your efforts to practice your skill of positive presence, and in so doing, you will mitigate or even eliminate the negative effects of the stressful behavior or situation. Learning to recognize and adapt your own behavior style is critical to managing your emotions, as well as to helping those you lead recognize and adapt to stressful situations. Also, keep in mind that you may show behavior typical of a scale type different from your primary dimension. This just means that you are already on your way to adjusting and adapting to scale types other than your primary dimension. The key is to ensure that your behaviors are being driven by the most positive of emotions within you, so that they strengthen not only you yourself, but all those around you as well. Acquiring the skill of positive presence is a slow and gentle process that begins with awareness and expands into your 20 square feet. It is a positive focus on who you want to be and what you want to accomplish. It is a conscious practice of searching out the most positive response to any circumstance you find yourself up against. It is a journey to living a life of joy and peace. And now, move on to content item 21 of the credentialing program.